Hi, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harish Shah. I am a professional futurist from Singapore. Endearingly, they call me the Singapore futurist. But at the same time, I also double up as a life coach. I've been doing this for a while, and I've been working with people from varying backgrounds um, across different age groups for different purposes. So, over to you, Shakila.
Hi everyone, this is Shakila. I'm also an entrepreneur into the business of IT, the love for technology, and I also consult startups on various aspects. So here I am to talk a few things. There you go. Harish and me have come together to motivate, inspire, or probably talk to people who are currently locked down and is looking forward for business. So yeah, Harish and me, we've chosen to start off with. First of all, Harish, please motivate us. I think I'll start with that. In India, we've been long waiting for various measures, and we've been waiting for lockdown to end. Though we know we are in danger, but what's more bothering right now is not the lockdown, is the complete stop of business. So please motivate us. Thank you.
Okay, first and foremost, try to understand that this is not something that is unique or specific to a particular country environment. This is a global event, right? Um, it's probably a lot worse than most pandemics we've had in living memory for anyone who's alive today, because none of the pandemics in more recent memory, at least in our lifetimes before this one, have been so bad that we've actually had to restrict our movements and shut down to this extent. But again, this is not a pandemic that different from a lot of the pandemics in the past, which just we've not had in our lifetimes yet, right? So this is the first one. Hopefully, it's the last one. There's no guarantee that it will be, but unfortunately, we have to live through it. But understand this: it's not specific or unique to a particular country. It's global. Everyone is in the same storm. We're not in the same boat. We are in the same storm. Our boats may differ slightly, but we are going through the same experience, right? So, for the greater good, we need to make sure that we, one, cut our movements, and which is why whether or not a country or a city or a town is in lockdown or not, there are measures to restrict movement. So, in one way or another, businesses are affected, various nature, right? Even the businesses that are able to run because of the market conditions where they are, where the pandemic situation might not be so bad, and where they were in so-called critical services, it is difficult for them to move things or make things happen because others cannot move with them depending on where their geographical location is. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that you may not be able to make immediate transactions right now, and I'm saying this keeping the startup founders and startup leadership in mind. You may not be able to make any
I
transactions
think
or any
that
sales at this
that is
moment.
the segment which is really suffering the most. I think it's the
Yep,
startup, because the large companies have at least something in the treasure that they can utilize for the
yep,
coming days. But it is the startup who has put in all their heart
yep,
and their pockets into starting something. And I
yes,
think it's people like us who are more worried and concerned, and having
yep,
these small teams to to assist us. Now I think, yeah, that's a point, right?
yep. No, I mean, yes, you're absolutely right, Shakila, because what happens is that in any drastic situation, as such as this one, right? Every time there's a crisis, it's always the small guy, right, or the small woman on the street, right, that's hurt first. If I mean, I won't be surprised if not just in India or Singapore or in Asia, around the world, there are startup founders, small business owners who are probably thinking, maybe it would have been a better idea if I were in a job right now. Maybe I would have had a paid vacation, even if
Very
on say
true.
50% salary, I would have been drawing an income. Right now, I've got investors' money stuck. I've got my life savings stuck. I have to pay people's salaries. I have to pay rent. I have to pay installments or mortgage for various things I'm held up in, whether it's office property or production facility or inventory, right? But I'm not making revenues, right? And the worst hit are companies, particularly who are in the business of organizing stuff. Now, you can't bring people together. Literally, since the start of February, worldwide, events revenues have dropped to literally zero.
Right.
Right? This
I
is
think there are
unprecedented.
a lot of companies who have lost hopes just now. Events, of course, badly hit, or the first hit, because it was
Yep.
opening of 2020, and there were series of events across the world, whether it is top level events, corporate level events, whether it is the fiscal events, seminars, so many
Yep.
things that were lined up for 2020, and everything looks fall flat on their face, right? So that's
Yeah.
the industry
Yeah.
which first took a bad hit. And I think consecutively we had a lot of industries which went done. You see that series of top players
Yep.
had to fall flat.
Yep.
Had to fall
Yep.
flat. Textile, oil,
Yep.
transport, manufacturing. I don't know. I can't mention the list right now, but
Yeah. No,
but
there's no one who's immune, right? No industry is immune, right? So everyone is suffering in one way or another.
right,
You may say some industries like pharmacology and all that, they may be in critical services, but their costs may be running a lot higher right now given
exactly.
these circumstances, because those who are able to provide to them are probably marking up, and they have good reasons to do so as well. So there's no such thing as someone being immune. So back to the question, right? Motivating the startup. The first thing is, right now you're probably, if you're a startup founder anywhere in the world, right, you're stuck at home. You can't meet your team, you can't meet your people, you can't pay wages, perhaps you may have to let go of your teams, right? You may be worried about banks and loan providers and investors chasing you down. So the first emotions, you have to acknowledge them, right? The first thing before you deal with the problem is to acknowledge the problem. What you're probably going through is anxiety. You're probably going through fear. You're probably going through worry, right? You're probably demoralized. You're like thinking, okay, this is not going to head anywhere, right? Um, so when you acknowledge these things, that's where you can start to begin. I would say the first suggestion, to start solving this problem is sit down, calm yourself, breathe. Remember, it's not the end of the world, right? Uh, this is why, because you're not in this alone. Everyone is stuck together, right? Um, you have to pull people together right now. Where if you have suppliers chasing for payment, tell them you're not going to run away. Tell them things are stuck. Your supplier will get the money. Your investors, tell them the investment is safe. It's frozen. It's not sunk. It's not lost. If you have a team, this is where it gets complicated, because other people have expenses as well, right? People need to pay for their mortgage, their bills, whatnots. But you need to tell your team, look, even if I can't pay you a salary right now, it's better we survive than we go broke. It's better that when this thing ends, and it is going to end, it's not permanent, it is better that we are still together, we have this company, you still have a job, rather than you have absolutely nothing, right? It's sensitive, it's a lot easier said than done, right?
So,
But
what Harish is trying to tell here is, first of all, strengthen your emotional ability, right, Harish?
yep,
So that's your
yep,
point
address
one.
that first.
Is just keep your emotional strength going, and you have to not just think of yourself at this moment to get that strength. Is you need to think that there are a lot of people depending on you, and as a leader, you cannot let this play your mind. That's exactly what Harish is trying to say. First point is, do not let these negativities play on your mind, right? So yeah, Harish,
Absolutely.
thanks. That's
You're in
amazing. Yeah.
you're in refrigeration, so you're not going to decay, right? You're not dead, right? You're just being preserved, right? So don't worry about it. Like, you're not in this alone. Other people can understand your situation. And you see, in different parts of the world, in different countries, different places, whether through governmental agencies or through industry groups, there's help available. There's no shame in seeking help. If you feel guilty about it, someday when you're better, you give back, right? But at this time, seek help if you can get. If you can get grants, if you can get some seed money, if you can get some special loans, get it, right? If there are people out there giving away free stuff, there's some corporations who have started some funds, the larger brand names around the world, they've started some funds for small businesses, for contractors. Take
So
it,
basically,
right?
Harish, what
It's
you mean to say is whether you are a startup with your own money, whether you're a startup with investors' funds, whether you are somebody who's a homegrown businessman, no matter what you are in your societal status, right now we are all equal, and it's okay because we have some people who are providers and who are still providers, and
yep,
we can also be distressed and we should go for it. I mean, without any
yep,
inhibitions. That's
yep,
what you're trying to say.
yeah. Don't
Like
don't
besides
don't let
government,
yeah. Yep.
right?
Don't let pride get in the way. That's what I'm saying. You won't
Right.
become a beggar where in a situation like this you need help. I mean, for example, if you're walking along the beach one fine day in better circumstances and suddenly you get chest pains and you cannot breathe and you pass out, I mean, are you going to be embarrassed or ashamed to let someone perform CPR on you? It's that sort of thing. You need help, right? So don't
That's
be
it.
embarrassed or ashamed about it, right? So
So your
do that.
point to
It's
primarily says be open to go forward and take that help, take those measures, right?
exactly.
So
Yep.
basically, you
And
need
if
to
you need
keep an
to,
open eye, right?
yep,
So your second point basically says keep an open eye, look for the help that is coming your way, and do not
yep,
hesitate to grab it if it has come to you, and utilize this moment to use that help and help others also. I mean, help yourself and help everybody else that's there in your
exactly.
organization.
If you
that's
seek help,
that's
you can pay
valid.
your employees, you can pay your family, right? So that sort of thing. But
Right.
all that aside, right? Um, the main thing is whether you're from a science background or technological background, hard engineering background, doing civil construction engineering, if you have started a company, if you are a founder, if you own or run a startup, this is the time to really start thinking like a business person, which means you cannot afford to take a break, right? You cannot be saying, I can't go to the office, therefore I can't work. You cannot be telling yourself that just because sales are not happening, you're not able to deliver goods because of restrictions or limitations, it does not mean that you cannot work, right? So you have to start thinking like a business person where you're working all the time. You're just working on different things now. You have to tell yourself that, and you have to work on those different things, just not maybe what you primarily look forward to, such as if working in that workshop or on that workshop floor to develop that prototype or to sell that item, meet the customer. You may not be able to do all of that right now, but what you can utilize this time for is to do constructive stuff like prepare your sales pitch to hit the ground running when this thing reopens. Work with your team, communicate with your team to keep them together, keep yourself motivated, keep your morale high, and keep your team motivated. Keep them in the plans, plan with your team as to what needs to happen as soon as this is over. Keep yourself busy with that, and that will keep you motivated, that will keep you from being demoralized, so on and so forth. It's good for your mental health, it's good for your emotional health, right? And it's good for
So
your overall.
we've I mean, sorry, I interrupted. What I understand is,
Sure.
Harish, you've nicely, smoothly transited from emotional health to mental health just now.
Yep.
What I can see is you're addressing a very important point, which is the mental strength of a person. See, emotionally to be strong, and then mentally also to be prepared is what is
Yes.
very critical. And you're actually transferring the same feelings to your team eventually, right? Because
Exactly.
great.
And to your
That's
family as well, because whether you're a man or a woman, whether you are unmarried, living with your parents or parents living with you, whatnot, what you feel, you pass on to your family at this point in time, and that can worsen situations at home if your own feelings are negative, right? But if you're telling yourself you're constructively doing something where the profits will eventually come, this is not going to be a loss-making situation, right? It's not your fault that this pandemic has happened. You put in the labor. When things are better, that labor is not going to be wasted because you have built up something that you can then capitalize upon, right? So that's how you keep motivating yourself. But you make sure, of course, the trick is, the condition is that you must be engaging in that labor. You must still be working very, very hard. Even if not on sales or meeting people, you must be working very hard on doing things now that you can still do without having to meet people, without having to leave your front door. As long as you have a laptop or a desktop, you have internet access, you have your phone with you, right? You're connected to people electronically, what you would otherwise do in the office or in a workshop, do that now. right? Just do things remotely and do as much as you can remotely, but do more of that perhaps, and spend more time doing it to do it better, right? And that's how you motivate yourself.
Awesome. So there's also another point, Harish. I think this is very critical to address. I feel because whether we are emotionally strong, mentally strong, or we are just not strong at all. Right now, we are all caught up between four walls, right? And
Yep.
like you rightly said, it could be with family, without family, single, whatever. Can you help us be physically strong also? Because that's that's something we all have to beat it right now, because
Yeah.
we all can become easily a couch potato during this period when there's so much
Yeah.
time in hand, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what would you
Okay.
say that one
See, the
has
thing
to?
the thing about working from home, right? I've long been faced with this question, not so much as a coach, but as a futurist by people that should we work towards building a flexible work organization where people don't have to come to a physical office anymore, and people can work from home and so on. So this is a question that never ends. The truth is, even if you're an employee in a company, it really depends on your own discipline whether work from home can be effective, right? Because what happens is there are companies for which working from home has long worked very well. For others, even big major brand name tech companies in the past have had to send out memos, like telling staff within 24 hours to stop all work from home and come back to the office. This was before the pandemic. Over the last 5, 10 years, this has happened, right,
Very
all
true.
over the world. The reason is it's really subjective down to people, right? But this is where, as a founder, you cannot afford to be in that subjective situation where you're in discipline and you can't work, and then you demoralize yourself, telling yourself that, look, I can't work and therefore my business can run and I'm going to make a loss. Rather, you have to be in that subjective situation where you are disciplined and you get work done. Let me tell you what can happen when you work from home. I don't have to travel. I don't have to put in my scooter key into my scooter or my car key into my car. I don't have to drive and get stuck on the highway in daily rush hour traffic. So I'll wake up at 9. I'll get proper rest. I'll spend more time with the kids because they're not going to school right now either. Right? That happens. So I mean, whether or not your country is in a lockdown, right? Anywhere in the world you may be watching this from, like in Singapore, there's no lockdown, but schools and workplaces are suspended all the same, right? Despite there not being a lockdown. So, but you're stuck at home with different people, right? So you say, okay, let's spend more time with the spouse, more time with the kids, right? But I'm going to work from home anyways, and I'm going to spend as much time working at home that I spend working in the office, or maybe if not so much, at least 8 hours. And what will typically happen, possibly, is by the time you get through breakfast, it's already past lunchtime. And by the time you're done with lunch, that's where you really get kick-started to actually get down to work. And by the time you feel that, okay, maybe I don't feel so good. I want to rest now. I don't like the feeling of working after sunset. You've got to maybe half an hour to an hour's work done in a day. That's actually meaningfully, constructively productive.
You
That's
see,
bad
that's
for
what a lot of
business.
people say that that's what a lot of people say that many a times working just 4 hours is more productive than giving those 8 hours sitting in an office and absolutely not being productive at all. So I think this is the time that
Um,
one can realize how crisp the time is and how efficient work is, right?
Yeah, I mean, okay, the people who talk about that, those are people with salary jobs who can afford to think like that.
Okay.
An entrepreneur must always be of the mindset where every minute is productive, and you cannot put in 4 hour days, right? Not even in times like these where, okay, I can't meet clients, I can't meet my team face to face, I cannot actually do anything physical. But that said, you still need to put in a lot of effort because your business is your baby. But you have to look at your business as your child. This is going to be a legacy for future generations to
Right.
look up to you for, right? So you have to put in the effort. So the first thing is that, right? But the question is, how do you get into the frame of mind where you're not just putting in half an hour to 1 hour, which is going to scare you later because you're like thinking, okay, I've not really gotten anything productive done, especially when the pandemic ends and you're like thinking, okay, all that time was wasted. Now I'm going to have to play catch up and I'm overloaded because so many people I have to answer to, right? You don't want to get into that situation. Rather, develop a timetable system. Use your alarm clock on your phone, whatnot. Make sure you wake up regularly on time as you did before the pandemic began. Have your breakfast on time. Spend some time with the kids because you have to engage them. Otherwise, they're gonna, if you have kids, you're gonna turn your house into a circus, and then you won't get your work done. You don't get any productive done, and then all of you hold up in the same home. It's going to be World War VII. You don't want to be in that situation, right?
True.
So you make sure you have plans to engage your kids, your family, the needs of your elders, whatnot, if you're living in a joint family. But long story short, you need to have a timetable, and you need to have a to-do plan, right? Start every day with a to-do plan. Build on it. Do a tick list where you tick off, okay, what I've already covered, and if then there's space to add some stuff or new ideas are coming to your head as to, okay, maybe I can come up with this collateral. I don't need to go to a print shop to do that. I can come up with soft copies of that. I can come up with e-copy. I can do some e-promotion, or I can pitch some plans virtually to some folks who are willing to listen to me on LinkedIn through this period. Work on such things, right? Get busy. The important thing in life in a time like this is keep yourself productively busy by having a plan, right? Otherwise, I don't usually get to watch that TV series because by the time I come home, it's already 8. Now that in this lockdown situation, maybe I'll adjust, right? Maybe I since I'm sitting at home, I'm comfortable. I watch the TV series first, get to work later. The moment you let such things set in into your mind, you're not going to get anything done. Then you'll either set yourself into complacency, or you'll set yourself into panic. Either one will happen. Or the third thing is you'll be demoralized, demotivated, go like, what's the point? Right? See, a human being is only defeated in two scenarios. One, the human being is dead. A dead man can't fight anymore. Second, the human being has said, okay, I've lost. I give up.
I give up.
I cannot win this. Right? That's when the human being is defeated. Right? In most situations, we're not talking about border wars, right? We're not talking about military. I mean, this. I don't believe Shakila and I are having this conversation for soldiers. That's a very
Right.
different story, right? But what? And we're not talking about 90-minute football games, right? We're not having these conversations for the series of conversations that we're going to have ahead for pro athletes, right? They have their own situation right now, right? But this is specifically for entrepreneurs. So these are the only two scenarios that apply where you can be defeated. One, you're dead,
Very true.
and I just wish everyone watching this has a long life, even if you've lived a long one already. May you live past 150,
Yeah, why not?
and
Live to say
live to
stories.
tell the story that I
Yes,
survived. I survived
you kind of.
COVID-19. It could not touch me. And second, don't give up, right? If you Because the other option is, if you tell yourself, what's the point? That's when you've been defeated. That's where you lose everything,
Right.
right? As long
So
as you don't quit and you're not dead as an entrepreneur, you can always win. You have to tell yourself that, but you have to work hard for it.
true. So I think I'll just kind of summarize, because this was the first session, and this is the first
Yep.
session, and we focused on motivating fellow men like us. And I think Harish has, I mean, I don't know. Thank you so much for welcoming the idea and giving me your time. And there is so much more that I want to work with you, and I already can see this is like wow. So here it is, entrepreneurs and everybody else, anybody who wants to be motivated in this given time, people working from home, ladies who are inspired to do some craft work, want to start off their own baking schools, whatever, whatever. These are a few points, Harish. I'm just going to summarize. First of all, you need to strengthen yourself, and the areas to strength is get your emotional strength, because that's what you're going to pass on to your immediate family, to your team, to your reporting managers, to the entire crew that's looking up to you, because you've been the face, right? Okay. Second is no ego, no pride. We are all humans. We are all in the same boat, going through the same thing. And we are here for each other, and we just need to be open about it. And I used to come across this sentence is like, you need to ask for what you want, right? But here is a situation, it's come to us on our laps, So everybody knows that everybody needs something, okay? So if it is funds, yeah, go and take it. But if it is anything else that you can give also, I think Arish, I was looking at the contrary side also. Maybe if you're self-inspired, you can go ahead and inspire others. Maybe somebody with money needs only inspiration or motivation just now, not money at all, right? So I think that's what, no pride, no ego. We all should start treating each other equally and see how we can balance out things for the future. I think this is the first and foremost things that we need to let go right now, right? And then what was very interesting is how Harish put this very nicely, moving on to the mental strength, and then going ahead and staying connected with your team. Don't don't stop communicating to people. Continue to engage with them, which again continues. I mean, how you can do that, he explained in the point where discipline is the focus. He's clearly said that maintain your discipline, chalk out your timetable, slice the clock into different activities that you can do. That's how he told that you can be busy, and one of the activity can be connecting with your team, talking to them, and maybe rethinking how you want to get back. That's what he said, that you can probably prepare a new pitch deck to to be ready when the situation is under control. So that is very important. And yeah, I like a favorite sentence. I mean, today there is a takeaway. What Arish said is, remember, you're leaving a legacy. Huh? I like it.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
I
why else would you
like it.
start a company, right?
Right.
There,
So
there are all
if
sorts of ways to make money, right? But you
right.
need you want to leave a legacy for yourself, right?
Right. Oh, I can already see that happening to my company. Is like, oh, Shakila put through this, and see, that's so motivating. If you can stay put, and if you can contain the situation just now, keeping yourself self more, a lot of things that we can do. Harish said, keep yourself very busy, and here is how you can keep busy. Harish, I'm thinking of a few things. Maybe there are some businesses that you do not really know how to go forward, because when you started a business, or when you started this fiscal year, you thought, okay, 2020 is going to do action 1, action 2, action 3, action 4, the series of action. But maybe you just need to relook into it, gather all the real time information, maybe do a lot of reading, maybe research on what people in similar line of business are thinking, planning, interacting. Now those things can be another productive activity that you could do, so that your next presentation is going to be killer presentation, is going to address the situation, is going to resolve the problems that you have seen that can happen through your business. So I think these are few ways that you can keep yourself engaged, besides doing your regular brunches. I think that's what Harish is doing, but I still have my breakfast on time. So besides having
Yeah.
discipline, besides having team, besides having a lot of other activities that you should be doing, like housekeeping and the laundries and all of it, I think these are few important things you must put within that working hours. Schedule your working hours and make it more productive for self growth, and growth of the entire team. Because see, today's takeaway, you're going to leave a legacy behind, right, Harish? So I hope I
Yes.
haven't missed any point.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And so this
Just
is
one
our
little thing,
first
right?
session.
Besides the yeah,
Sorry.
just one last thing, right?
Yeah,
Just besides working on the next pitch, maybe now is the time to also reconsider, rethink. If you're in a startup stage, reconsider, rethink what products you have. They're probably good ones, but also think what else can you offer to the world.
right.
Now that you have the time to work on other things because you're not busy with production and selling or logistics, you have workspace and work time for planning, conceptualization. So what else can you offer with your startup, with your team, or with your
Right.
resources? Get to work on that. Draw plans, draw up designs of products. This is the time to do that, right? Perfect
Right.
time to do that.
Perfect. So this is our first session on motivation. We plan to come up with a few more sessions that can be useful to entrepreneurs and people alike who are right now trying to find ways of dealing with the current situation, economical situation, business scenario, and various things that we are trying to gather. So thanks, Harish. And yeah, please wait for us. We're going to come back with another session very soon. Yeah,
Definitely. Look forward to
great.
that, Shakila. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
thanks. Have a great day. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.